Big and Small, a show that is able to blow the likes of Peppa Pig and even Bluey out of the water thanks to its clever usage of really interesting character and moral dynamics. Now, Big and Small fans have been very fortunate, as in the 2020 decade, nearly every episode of the show has been found in some way, shape, or form, and been put on YouTube. But there is still quite a substantial amount of Big and Small lost media out there, where for one reason or another, it was in production but is currently stuck in a limbo, can be found only through other sources, was too obscure for anyone to notice, or it may have never even existed in the first place. So we are going to be taking a look at every single piece of Big and Small lost media. This won't be an iceberg format, but you will definitely be seeing pieces of media that will make even the hardcore Big and Small fans go, "That existed?" So hold on to your hats as we dive into the missing media of Big and Small. Unlike the other entries in this video, where I do indeed have evidence to confirm or debunk their existence, this time around, there is no such backing I have. This is information I discovered while looking at the website of a puppeteer who worked on the show, with additional information that might testify its existence coming from the website of another puppeteer on the show. However, for their safety, I will not be mentioning their names in this video. Now, given that this is mostly about factual information and debunking myths, word of mouth, or in this case, websites of people who worked on certain projects is not good backing, as they may be misremembering things or spreading misinformation. But again, I have no other evidence to confirm or deny this media's existence, so I understand if you do not believe me in what I'm about to say. For all I know, maybe I'm going crazy and this might have never existed in the first place. So I say treat this nothing more than a legend. Okay? Good. Now with all of that said, I shall now present the information I have discovered. In 2006, author Kathy Waugh of PBS Kids fame took to Treehouse TV in Canada and CBeebies in Great Britain to bring to life an idea that was originally thought up of by Steve Andrew, about two friends who couldn't be any more different from one another, down to the way they view the world through their sizes. But to bring it to life, they tried many different attempts, but ultimately settled on a style of puppetry that was different mixtures. The Jim Henson style, Bunraku style, which is where the puppeteers are covered in black cloths to hide them while performing on stage, and green screen effects, ultimately creating a look that would ultimately bring the puppets to life in a brand new way. A test pilot was created to sell the show in how it would work, with 3 different puppets for Big and 7 different puppets for Small having to be created, and the script apparently having Small driving his remote control car on the ceiling. This would inevitably become the first draft of the series premiere, Something is Missing. Again, this may or may not exist. If you decide to do your own research into the topic, however, I will leave the puppeteers' websites in the description, but please be respectful when trying to contact them, because they may not have known about this, or maybe they don't remember. But if by any means you do decide to contact them, please do not harass them about this, okay? They're just trying to do their jobs, and it may ultimately destroy the entire search and we may never get this thing solved. But again, this may or may not exist, I don't know. But hopefully I can at least present to you something that would have been. But now let's move on to the stuff that we know for a fact does and does not exist. First and foremost, Big and Small was a Canadian production, so it would of course need puppeteers from Canada to perform and voice the characters. The most notable ones are Todd Dolderson as Big, Jason Hobley as Small, and Lisa Gillespie as Ruby for the 3rd and final season. However, for the non-speaking animals, especially the frogs, they would be dubbed over by British actors Jimmy Hibbert and Keith Wickham. There was one point where you could watch the unedited Canadian versions of these episodes, more specifically the first 2 seasons, on both Amazon Prime and the Internet Archive. However, they were removed from both sites after a while. And aside from a few clips and a French-Canadian airing that uses the French audio over the unedited Canadian audio, there's no way to watch them online. As it stands today, only 15 episodes can be found on these 3 DVDs, each containing 5 episodes. And there's currently no plans to release these online anywhere. However, we do know a Canadian version of Season 3 exists, thanks to a leaked clip of the episode Small Small Let Down Your Hair. To help boost the show's popularity in the United Kingdom, the BBC decided to bring on board celebrities to voice some of the characters. While Jimmy Hibbert and Keith Wickham were kept as the frogs and the other non-speaking animals, they brought on board Lenny Henry to voice the titular Big and Small.
I've never had a visitor before, but I think I like it. Will he stay?
I don't know, Big. I mean, let me think here. Okay, that's a great idea.
Good.
And Imelda Staunton of Harry Potter fame to voice both Ruby and Tweeba. However, for the 3rd season, Tweeba was cut altogether, and Ruby was now voiced by Tasman Healy, who provided the facial animatronics for Fizz in the Tweenies. Back on topic, just like the Canadian version, not all of the episodes can be found online, but fortunately this time, there's a good amount of found episodes to work with. Season 1 had 2 DVD releases in the United Kingdom. The first 8 episodes were released on We're Big and Small, and the next 8 episodes were released on Starry Starry Night. 6 Season 3 episodes were released on a DVD called The Biggest Story. And finally, the last episode of the series, Moonrace, had been released on a compilation DVD of various CBeebies shows. As for most of the other episodes, they were released on YouTube and the Internet Archive, leaving 22 episodes still missing. Season 1 is missing the least amount of episodes, with only these 4 currently not able to be found. The second season is missing only 6 episodes, with these episodes not being able to be found. Season 3, however, is where things take a significant dip, as 12 episodes are missing. That's over half of the 26 episodes that this season made. However, the good news is most of the songs for these episodes have been found. As a fan of the show, especially the UK dub, it's gratifying to know that all of these episodes exist in some way, shape, or form. But then at the same time, it's disappointing to know that these episodes are currently inaccessible in their entirety. As for the 22 episodes missing their UK dubbing tracks, will they all turn up online? Well, as every year passes by, that answer seems more and more likely.
No.
But hopefully in our lifetime, that number will decrease. After the first season ended on November 7th, 2008, it would be 1 year and 13 days after the first episode premiered since we would get the second season of 26 episodes. But still being the huge success that Studio 100 was looking for, it would of course mean foreign dubs would be made of the show. The most famous ones, at least in the mainstream market, are the Spanish, French, and Italian dubs, and those were actually made by Studio 100 themselves. So those episodes have been uploaded on their respective languages channels. However, not all of the dubs have been lucky. Since Big and Small aired in over 40 different channels across the world, not all of them were as successful. In fact, you'd be lucky to find a few that actually were successful as the UK English dub. I can't go over every single one of them, but I'll go over what I think is the most successful one to date. Ball and Smick, the Dutch dub of Big and Small. Not only did this dub stay very true to the UK dub, but in some respects, I think it's equally as good. Just take a listen to Big and Small's voices, and you tell me this doesn't capture the same energy as Lenny Henry did.
Oops. It's bad mistake.
Ball,
Jij maakt troep van mijn rommel en ik ben... kwaad op jou. Ik ben super kwaad op jou.
Now, despite being the most popular foreign dub of the show, having the second most amount of merchandise out of all versions of the show, this version of the show is surprisingly scarce to come by. Only 2 DVDs were ever released, with the first one containing the first 6 episodes, and the last one, well, I'm not sure because the DVD is now out of stock and it is extremely rare to come by. But I do know that it does contain the final Season 2 episode, Big and Small Day. As it stands today, only 7 episodes from this version of the show can be found online, with a few songs from other episodes appearing as well. And one last thing before I close off this section, and this applies for all foreign dubs, most countries didn't bother dubbing the 3rd season because it was just too different than what had come before. But some countries did. How do I know this? Because a Latin American Spanish dub of the episode Fishing for Elephants has been uploaded to YouTube. Not only is it the only version of the episode that can be found online, minus the English song, but it is also, as of January 2023, the only foreign dub of a Season 3 episode that has been found online. In 2009, the online company Plugin Media, who has a very impressive resume with online games, was contacted by CBeebies to create an online experience based on Big and Small, in which they would combine 2D animated characters with 3D environments, all to make the minigames seem very much impressive. And one of these minigames actually ended up becoming a very popular meme in recent times.
Uh-oh, you found the toothpaste? Let's get one thing clear. I can brush my teeth all by myself, okay?
The game even won a Children's BAFTA Award in 2009 for Best Interactive Service. But all of this success was put to a stop very quickly, as in 2015, the game was taken down, as Big and Small in general was taken off of CBeebies' lineup. Not helping was that on December 31st, 2020, Adobe Flash shut down. But if you look in the right places online, you can easily play the game. Spotify released 4 different albums for Big and Small to help promote the show. But these didn't just contain any versions of the songs. These actually contained extended versions of certain songs, 2 of which have been uploaded online by user Andreas Dovidatis, those being Ghosts Are Real and Outdoor Living, the latter of which seriously gives me Bare Necessities vibes. But anyways, they were removed from Spotify for a little while, but have since reappeared? I'm not so sure about the whole situation. But regardless, if you know where to look, you can easily find them online. Okay, so a little context is needed. Comic Relief is a charity organization founded by the BBC and Lenny Henry to help out several children across the world who are in poverty or sickness through the medium of comedy. And several people have actually partaken in this act, the most famous of which has to be English cosmologist Stephen Hawking. But anyways, considering that Lenny Henry was one of the founders, it will of course be inevitable that he would write a skit in which Big and Small do comic relief. Or I'm sorry, Big teaches Small about Red Nose Day. The skit is fine. Not great, not amazing, it's fine. But the short was lost for a while until 2019, when user Meme Mouse found it on the Wayback Machine and decided to upload it to YouTube. And now, if you look hard enough and do your research correctly, you can find the full short. To me, there is no piece of Big and Small confirmed lost media that is more elusive than the stage production Happy Together. Not much is known about this production, but we do have evidence that it did indeed exist, a photograph and a video recording. And we do know that it was performed at 2 different places, once at the Richmond Hill Center for the Performing of Arts on October 13th, 2011, and then one more time at the Midland Cultural Center on March 23rd, 2014, about 3 years after the show ended. The saddest thing about all of this is that this is a stage production, meaning that unless you were truly there, there's no way to re-experience them. Stage productions were truly a one-time thing. So for this piece of lost media, unless there's a way someone has a bootleg recording, there's no chance of it being found. And that, I think, is the saddest news of all. And there you have it. That is every piece of big and small lost media I could find. I would like to thank you all for watching this video. If you have your own suggestions on which show I could do lost media on, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I may consider them. Also, if there is a piece of big and small lost media that I missed out on, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I may do an update video on there. So what is it I'm going to review for the first review of Season 2? Well, we're going to a certain train station. What kind of station? Well, follow the rainbow sun to a place where dreams come true, waiting there for you.